one has gone before.
So I'd like to talk to you something today that's very near and dear to my heart. The Borg. Now, I'm not talking about the Borg as it was turned into.
Who are you?
I am the Borg.
That is a contradiction. The Borg have a collective consciousness. There are no individuals.
By Rick Berman after the death of Gene Roddenberry, so that means the later episodes of Next Generation I'm not particularly talking about. I'm talking about up to season 3 in the Next Generation. Now a lot of people want to relate the Borg to V'ger from the original Star Trek, the motion picture. And you know, I can definitely see some correlations there. But what I would like to hit on is what I believe that Gene Roddenberry originally meant the Borg to represent. Let's just explain the Borg of how I see Gene Roddenberry interpreting the Borg. So today we're getting closer and closer to each other because of, you know, cell phones, and before that magazines, books, television. It was a process, and you know, cell phones are the next leap forward in that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Gene Roddenberry says, what if a society was totally connected? Okay, well, that's very interesting. Well, you could end up with something like the Borg. So what if one day in Gene's imagination a society said, hey, why keep carrying these things around? Why don't we just link ourselves up here? So that's what's interesting and scary about the Borg. The people who became the Borg originally might not have actually meant to be the Borg. They were just trying to better their society by connecting their brains. But when they did this connection, they instantly lost all individuality. They were unable to control their actions as a group. It was simple group think. And the logical group think was you must perpetuate the species and attain knowledge. So the people who actually originally created the Borg just didn't actually mean to, trying to improve themselves, and then all of a sudden, snap, they're this unrelenting evil force, you know, by our moral standards today. Now, you know, after season 3 of Star Trek, when Mr. Roddenberry died, they tried to incorporate a much more common theme. Rick Berman's not very creative. I have something against him sometimes. It's okay, Mr. Berman, but it's very more, you know, common. There's a leader. There's some sort of hierarchy in the structure, but I think what he was saying is with the Borg was there is no hierarchy. There is no individuality. It's just groupthink, and the Borg is the ultimate representation of that groupthink. It's a very scary concept, because if you become part of the Borg, regardless how scary or how much you don't like them, you will do and contribute to their force. And even the people who created the Borg or became the Borg originally probably would have feared them and not liked them, but is what they became because of this ultimate interconnection of society.